everyone. I wanted to show you my current journaling setup and show you some other notebooks that I'm hoping to use up this year in 2020. At the end of 2019, I finished my journal in the Nanami Cafe Note in the B6 Slim size. And so I was able to start fresh in 2020 with a brand new notebook for journaling. And as you can see, I selected standard size, and I've shown this before, and I've shown a little on Instagram, but I haven't done a complete look at the setup that I have. It's really simple. I like to keep my journal setups fairly simple because I tend to switch from journal to journal. So once this is full, I could pick something completely different to work in, a different size and a different cover and all of that. But right now I am using this LeCow. This is the vintage tan leather. It's gorgeous. I love the tones in this. I cannot get over it. And it's just so pretty. And the front pocket is the peacock leather, and the combination of these two together it just does it for me. This house is by Iraville on Etsy. This comes from this, which is wrapping paper, and it's typically available in her Etsy shop during Christmas time. I know she offered it again just this past Christmas, but I love her artwork and this particular house. If I can't find anything to put in my front pockets, if my decor just isn't working out, I can always go back to this little house and it just works every time. So I've put that in there. And then on the inside, I just have a piece of scrapbooking paper. I'm really, really into florals and maps. So if I'm looking at scrapbook paper, typically if it's got any kind of map or some kind of floral on it, I am definitely buying it. So I Mod Podged the cover of this. This is just a Midori Md Notebook. It was A5 and I had it cut to standard, and I think I did this over a year ago. So this notebook has just been in my stash, and this is the year I'm using up what I have. It's just the typical grid, and it's got 176 pages. It's just the one that's bound like this. I think most people are familiar with that. So I just took some scrapbooking paper and glued it to the front with Mod Podge. I stuck a butterfly on here because I'm just really attracted to butterflies as well. This was just from a Tim Holtz ephemera pack. And then this label, I just got it. It's from this. I got it at Hobby Lobby, but they just have all these different sized label stickers. And I don't label my journals like by consecutive volume. So what I'm doing here is I wrote 2020 for the year, and then I wrote 1 indicating that this is the first journal for this year. So I go by year. But yeah, I stuck that on there, and I really love it. The only thing I will say about using Mod Podge is that it will warp the cover. I did this with the front of my Hobonichi Day Free, which I'm using as my planner, and like it will lift the edges and make them kind of curl this way. So you kind of, well, what I do anyway is I just sort of like bend it like this to kind of get it back into shape. And then with the elastic and everything, it kind of puts it back. But just FYI, if that's something you're considering, having all of this Mod Podge on it will cause your pages to kind of curl up a bit. But I just added some end papers. I just used my tape runner, my Tombow tape runner, and adhered some more scrapbooking papers to the inside. And then I finally busted out my tab punch, which I got in as a Christmas present in 2018, and I've not used it, but I finally did. I finally have put it to use. You know, we got to use our stuff, and I'm really glad that I'm following through on that. So this scrapbook paper, I ended up just punching with the tab punch and started tabbing my journal again. I didn't do it for the last like 2 journals that I had, but I'm giving it a go again, and I'm really enjoying it this time. And I just love the way, this book is coming out. Like, to archive this, I just think it's so pretty all together with the tabs and the artwork on the front. I am not usually the person to collage the front of my covers. I've tried it randomly. But once I did my Hobonichi Day Free, I realized that I really liked this technique of using the Mod Podge, and I just really got a sense of what type of decor I like, and that helps a ton. So I'm really happy with this and with the method that I've kind of chosen for myself. So this is what I'm working with now, and you can see how far I've gotten just in January, and I think this will take me through January and maybe a little past. But I got it in my head of how much could I actually use up this year, because last year I only used 4 notebooks because I picked some really massive ones, which I'm not planning on doing this year, kind of. So then I was wondering how many notebooks could I reasonably use up this year. So none of these are new. These are all notebooks that were already in my stash. I went through a massive de-stash of leather covers and notebooks and decor and stickers and things like that I just know I'm not going to use. They were all like almost 2 years old, and they were all just aging. So I either sold them or got new homes for them or donated them. So they've been dispersed and they're out of my possession. But this year, I'm hoping to use up like a fair bunch of notebooks, but then I'm going to get a lot of use out of different covers. First of all, I wanted to mention these. This is from Nomad Notebooks, and they so kindly sent me this pack of notebooks to use. And this is so just charming in the style that they've done here. I actually saw Amy Graham unbox this set when it first came out, but this is a pocket size notebook set. It's the one called Confidential, but it does have 3 notebooks in here, and they each are named. One is Extraterrestrial, one is Criminology, and one is Illuminati. And this shows the pages that are in each notebook, which is so cute. And I love this little pack that it comes in. So here they are, and this one is probably my favorite because you can see, it says Nomad and it has images on it, but you can only see it when this red cover is on. Or I guess on camera it kind of picks up better, but like in real life, it's really hard to read the Nomad and everything. And then when you put the red cover on, it's much clearer. So I thought that was really cool. But as you can see, they each have different types of papers in it. And I actually prefer the Nomad notebooks as far as like a junk journal goes. If the pages are like way too busy and too bold, I have a really hard time figuring out how to write on top of it or even just like collage on top of it. I have a problem with like covering up details on a page, but this definitely works for me. And I love how I can get different paper types without having the anxiety of covering them up. So this one, I did some pen tests on it. The paper is actually fairly thick. I think they all differ in their weight, but it generally feels thicker than like what Field Notes provides. So my usual Uniball Signo 0.5 works great. When I used my TWSBI Eco with an Organics Studio ink, there's no sheening or anything, so it's not very fountain pen friendly. There is some bleed through there. And then I used my Pigma Micron in the 05, which took it really well. And then of course the Sharpie bled through. And since this one in particular has some of these darker colored pages, I took my Uniball Signo white gel pen. This tends to be a really popular one. And I tested it on here. It works beautifully. No bleed through on that at all. So I think I'm just gonna use up this 3-pack in this Speckled Fawns cover that I have. Although I had a kid that was eyeballing this one and is probably gonna steal it from me. So we will see. I'm really grateful to have these. Thank you so much, Nomad, for sending them my way. And it shouldn't take me very much time. I tend to blow through my notebooks fairly quickly these days. And I think it's because ever since I went into that Moleskine Expanded last year, I just got really comfortable with using up pages like really quickly and not being, not holding back when I'm putting down washi tape and stuff. I always just felt like I needed to have more words on the page than not, but I actually like putting down a lot of decor and taking up space that way. And when I go back and look at my journal pages, it's really visually appealing to me to see a lot of artwork and embellishment on the pages. But I've shown this one. This is an Eberhart Studio cover. I just love her angled front pockets. They're just, I don't know, they're just so different, and it's just such a nice change from the standard upright or even the sideways front pockets. But I still have my pocket Nanami Cafe Note in here. It just has Tomoe River paper in it, and I definitely need to use this up. I mean, I need to use all of these up, basically. I have all of these in my stash are just really old. This is another LeCow, and I have, well, I just put this Keely Ragman pouch in here, but Robin at Talks from the Heart had given me these Midori Md, I think they're the lite, where they're just stapled inserts instead of that like perfect bound book. So they have less pages, but this is like my favorite paper. Like, it's what I'm using now in this thicker journal, but this handles fountain pens so beautifully. Let me show you. So this is the Emerald of Chivor ink, and you can see the green, the dark teal, and you can even make out some of those coppery reddish tones and the gold coming through. And this paper is so beautiful. It just allows the fountain pen qualities, the fountain pen ink qualities to really shine. And even my Organic Studio sheening inks with that really high sheen, they look gorgeous in here. And this feels like a thirstier paper than Tomoe River paper. And so it really surprised me that my fountain pen inks looked amazing on this paper. So I definitely want to just use these up. I'm not a lined paper person, but for some reason, I'm a bit more forgiving these days with having non-gridded papers to use. So I'm hoping to get through those. And then I do want to do a junk journal or two. I have these two. I've gotten rid of the rest that I have, except Robin did make me one more that's thinner. This is made by Robin at Talks from the Heart, and this is from, I think it's brown Satchel. Everything will be linked below, but she makes these hero junk journals, and they're so adorable. Like, I love these so much. So I am planning on using up these two this year. I'm going to use them in Frank. This is the only like traveler's notebook standard size that I have right now. So I definitely want to get into those. And then these two. And I should be able to get through all of these notebooks this year and then have like a month or so to choose. Like I'm giving myself like a free choice if I get any new notebooks this year that I just really want to get into. I'm leaving a little bit of room for me to choose something else. But this is the Taroko Shop Enigma notebook, and this is a Stalogy. And I had them both cut down from A5 to standard. I use Fedex to get my notebooks cut down. And both of these have been journaled in. Oh my gosh, yeah. So I have pages ripped out of here, and there was only like 10 or so pages in each of these that were used at the beginning of 2019. And then I decided to combine my journaling into one Omni journal, which is basically like what my journal is now. But I cut out the used pages, bound them, and archived them for 2019, which left these notebooks with still a lot of pages that I knew I wanted to reuse as my Omni journals as I went through them. So I definitely want to get through these. And this is the year. Like I don't want them sitting for a whole nother year. I want to move past this and get these archived. So this is kind of a lot for journaling, but I have a lot of smaller sizes and thinner type of inserts that I'll be working through, as opposed to like having 400 plus page notebooks. Oh, I didn't show this one. This is an A5. This is an Elia Note that I started journaling in last year and did the same thing where I cut out the used pages and archived them. But I definitely want to see if I feel like getting in an A5. So that's like on deck to see how I feel. So that is it for my ambitious stack of journals for 2020. I will definitely check back in like at the end of the year just to see how much I actually got through. So I've seen a lot of people lately talking about how they want to use up what they have, and there's lots of low spend and no spend going on in a lot of the people that I follow. And I've just really also taken that to heart and definitely have just decluttered so much extra stuff, honed in into the things that I really do love, and just really want to get through the things that I already own this year as well. So let me know if you plan out like the journals that you're going to use, especially, you know, if you've got a bigger stash like this, you know, do you go through them and figure out the things that you definitely want to use during the year? I know that I have a really strict budget, a monthly budget that I have for anything related to stationery, journaling, planning, goodies and stuff to kind of keep me reined in for this year. So that is it from me, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and happy journaling. Bye.